Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I'm just sitting here in my robe drinking my morning coffee looking sexy as hell as usual. And for those of you who say I don't look sexy as hell when I do these videos in my robe, nobody cares what you think. I didn't ask you shit. Alright, I'm half awake here and I just started stumbling through my messages, and a couple of people have asked me what do I think about this amino acid spiking in protein powders. As I'm someone who likes to shit on the supplement industry, I don't really care for the industry. I think most of what they sell is unnecessary. It's junk with a few good products in there. But the reality is, I know how FDA guidelines work, I know how labeling works, and I actually know what protein is, and yes, I mean that in a biochemistry sense. And I don't have a problem with the way they label this stuff, and here's the reason why. One, if they're spiking an ultra high bioavailable protein with an ultra high amino acid profile, much higher than humans can use, like whey protein, with pattern amino acids, one, it still contains the amount of protein they claim it does. Two, even if you were to take something like whey protein and you were to add another 10% of taurine and glutamine to it to boost the protein content, it's still going to have a total amino acid profile that is higher than the human body actually needs for metabolic functions. So that 25 grams is still going to be a full 25 grams of protein as far as your body is concerned and as far as labeling is concerned. And because of that, if you actually are deficient in enough in protein that you're not gaining enough muscle, and you guys know that I say that the vast majority of you probably consume 50 to 100 grams more protein than you actually need to build muscle mass rapidly. But let's assume you aren't. Let's assume you're only getting 40 or 50 grams of protein a day from your carb sources and other foods, and you're throwing in 2 or 3 scoops of this whey every day to hit your numbers, and it pushes you up well above 100 grams. And that pushes you up to 125. Well, the reality is you just added a protein source at 75 grams worth that has a higher amino acid profile than humans actually need. So therefore, even though they've padded it with others, you've still gotten all the benefits of 75 grams of protein added to your diet. You're not going to necessarily see a difference once you go above that threshold. You're well up into that range that sports nutritionists recommend for strength athletes. You're not going to see a difference in your gains in the real world by using that padded 10 or 15% of padded aminos in there versus if you had used pure whey isolate to get that same 75 grams once you start hitting numbers like that. And for those of you who are already well above 100 grams of protein a day and you weigh 200 pounds or less, you're not going to see any extra gains at all from adding a protein powder in, probably, other than its caloric content. Irrespective of what they've padded it with, your protein intake is already more than sufficient. So you're pretty much just adding in extra protein because you're using it as a safety net or just to get extra calories in your diet. So for you guys, it's not going to matter at all. You're not going to see any difference. In either way, you're not going to see a difference in your gains based upon whether you bought one that's padded or not. What I would be more concerned with the protein powders is when you go look at stuff like the Consumer Reports, who show that different brands have different amounts of heavy metals in them, that one brand of whey versus another might have 10 to 15 times as much lead or arsenic in it. I think that should be more of a concern than the amino acid spiking. But that's just my take on it, guys. Alright guys, so that's really all I have to say on it today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you next time.